has this device cured my hiatus hernia, and has it allowed me to come off PPIs such as Omeprazole? If you've seen some of my YouTube videos before, you might know all about this little device and might know all about my hiatus hernia. If you've never heard of Iqoro before, and maybe you've just been diagnosed with a hiatus hernia, maybe severe GERD, you might have researched Iqoro and you've stumbled across this video. So I'll do a brief just overview of what this is and my story, but if you've seen it all before on videos from years ago, then feel free to skip a little bit and I'll do an update. One of the reasons why I've not done an update, because I see these comments all the time asking me, how are you getting on? Have you got rid of your PPIs yet? You know, are you still considering surgery? PPIs are really dangerous. All of this stuff, which I'll go over very briefly, very shortly. I see them. The reason why I've not done an update in so long, sorry if you can hear that drill. I've been waiting for my neighbour to finish drilling all day and it's not. And now it's got to the end of the day, so here we are. So I hope it's not too distracting. But the reason why I've not is because I think it's pointless me doing a video every month when big changes with this. I'm not going to have anything to talk about unless it's been a significant amount of time, so I can then review myself even. These are nice little updates to remind myself to review how I'm getting on and what's going on. That's one of the reasons. Another reason is there was a period last year, 2024, I think I did my last update in spring 2024, when again, I've done this a couple of times before, I stopped doing Iqoro for a little bit, just for some various reasons that I'll briefly touch on later. So I also didn't feel like it was appropriate for me to do a review of something that I wasn't using for a little bit. But now I've been using it more in a different way, which I'll talk about at the end of the video. So firstly, if you've not heard of Iqoro before, this is it. It's a device that you use to, what they advertise is that it's going to be able to use the muscles in your esophagus. You're training the muscles to basically almost not do the job of PPIs, but make PPIs such as Omeprazole redundant if you have a hiatus hernia. So it's doing a different function from what I understand. But also if you've got GERD and acid reflux, I believe it helps with that. And also, I mean, you don't have a hiatus hernia. And I believe it also helps with other more severe things as well. But I'm not too sure because I've looked at it specifically for the hiatus hernia. And I see comments quite often. Well, a bit of a backstory for me. So if you've seen it all before, you can skip a little bit. In 2018, I think, I was diagnosed with a hiatus hernia and I had a few endoscopies, which you can also, if you're scared of an endoscopy or anything, I've got a few videos talking about a few endoscopies that I had over the years when I found out that I had a hiatus hernia. And basically there was a bit of scarring on my esophagus, a bit of polyps, and I was prescribed to have 2 Omeprazole in the morning and 2 Omeprazole in the evening, and to me that was just such a high dosage. And he was like, this is what you're going to be having for life. And he described, and I was like, really? And he described it as if I'm on a boat and, you know, it's sinking and we just put like a plaster over one hole. I remember this analogy that he used. It's not going to, the boat's still going to sink, so we have to use several ones. So I did what the expert said for a little bit, and then I had he suggested having a few more endoscopies to track the progress, and the scarring went, they got rid of the polyps, there was nothing really to worry about, and my symptoms just completely vanished. Symptoms that I didn't really put 2 and 2 together that I was experiencing. I just thought it was like normal to have this severe acid reflux and all these feelings that I was having, these symptoms, but they vanished through Omeprazole. So clearly the drug works, and if you are questioning whether you do have a hiatus hernia, I would 100% say get an endoscopy, get sedated is my summary from my other video, but you can watch it in more detail if you like, and then you can take action. But then the issue is more research I did and lots of comments on my YouTube telling me that PPIs, Omeprazole, are really bad long term. I'm mid-20s at this point, told that I'm going to be on these tablets for the rest of my life, on 2 in the morning and 2 in the evening, no change. So I'm like, okay. Health anxiety, another thing I talk about on my channel. Red flags, the red alert, like brr, 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 brr. So for ages I was kind of like, it was on my mind. I need to come off. I need to come off Omeprazole. I need to come off Omeprazole. That's my focus, because I just can't. But then it was a fine line because I also didn't want to risk something else I was anxious about, is this becoming either more scarring on my esophagus again, becoming Barrett's esophagus terrified me, and I even had some health anxiety where I worried that I had esophagus cancer. A whole thing. It's all on the YouTube if you do a little deep dive somewhere. This was like COVID times, 2021, 2021. However, through some diet and just through some little changes, I had lots and lots of conversations with various doctors and the same specialist, and I eventually was able to go from 4 omeprazole and trial going to 1 in the morning, 1 in the evening, which still sounds a lot, doesn't it? Like every day, but from 2, that's half, so that felt like a win to me, and it was working. I lost a bit of weight. My diet, you know, I've never had the best diet, but I think my diet changed significantly enough from what I was eating before, and my unhealthy habits that maybe I didn't notice I had before changed, and the symptoms just went completely. And I was waiting for them to come back when I lowered the omeprazole. I was a bit scared. They didn't. Then I started researching more because I was given some options. I can keep on PPIs or I can have surgery. They're my options. The surgery options, the more I explored and the more I spoke to surgeons, the more I was like, this sounds scary, this sounds really invasive, the success rate is low, and the only one that had any hope, I forgot the name of it, Lynx I think it was, a Lynx surgery, was not on the NHS, which is a free service in England, and it was like going to cost me thousands and thousands of pounds, and even that didn't have that high of a success rate. So nothing, and surgery just terrifies me. I've never had a surgery in my life, and just the whole thing of it just absolutely terrifies me. So all of it was just, what else can I do? Iqoro. I found this device, and it basically was claiming that if I do Iqoro, I can come off of PPIs completely. So then the whole problem is eradicated, because the long time use of PPIs have gone, I don't get symptoms, I'm not worried about Barrett's esophagus, everything's all good. And through Iqoro, and just I think further healthy habits, maybe less stress, and just maybe use of omeprazole over time, I went from 2 to 1 every morning. And even some days with the mixture of the Iqoro and just slightly different habits. Obviously, if I've like had a big takeaway or whatever, I would definitely make sure I have the omeprazole. But there's been a lot of days, and there was a lot of days over the last few years where I've not taken any omeprazole, missed it, and I've been completely fine. I've tested a few times, just doing my Iqoro. If the omeprazole, and I think I spoke this about on my last update last year, if the omeprazole, I can come off it completely, and that was the goal. I've not got there yet. That might be because there's been a few times when I've stopped Iqoro. Reasons being, one, personal stuff that was going on in my life. I couldn't commit to the habit for a little bit, just of some stuff that happened, and just feeling just a bit overwhelmed, and so I just naturally just stopped, which is unfortunate. This has happened years and years ago, and once last year, where I wasn't doing it consistently. And 2, Iqoro does cause a few symptoms that I don't have without, and I notice them when I take Iqoro. And I was worried about my symptom. I was worried about when I'm worried about something health related, and then I get a symptom, and I can't. My issue with health anxiety is, even though it makes sense, I've started Iqoro, so I'm feeling this lump in my throat or whatever, because that was something that I had. I can't deal with the uncertainty that it might not be that, and it might be something else. And I just really struggle with that. So I had to come off it just for a little bit and just worry about something else, and then that worry went, and then it was actually a few months last year when I didn't do Iqoro, so that's another reason why I didn't do an update actually. And I've just been having my 1 omeprazole still though, that didn't change. I've not took more than that, I think once or twice if I've had been on holiday and just completely overindulged and I've not wanted to feel any acid reflux. But honestly, I've spoken about ab workouts and stuff before. I'm at a point where I can even I'm really active now, which I think has helped, but I do a lot of workouts that are on the core, and symptom wise, I don't know what else. I've not had an endoscopy for a few years to notice, even though my last endoscopy came out completely okay. Symptom wise, everything is completely fine. So I feel like that's such a big win already. Iqoro. So I've never been able to actually come off the PPIs. Do I think that this can? It's really hard for me to say. I'm back on the Iqoro again, and I'm doing it. There's kind of like two levels from what I understand. There's doing it consistently as prescribed. I think it's becoming available on the NHS, but you still have to pay quite a lot for it or something like that. From memory, I had a conversation with my doctor last year about it. What was it? You can get it from the pharmacy, but I think you have to pay still. You have to pay still for it. It's like slightly discounted, something like that. I'll have to re-look that up actually. And if you're curious, I'll let you know. But the Iqoro, I've started it again. But the other way you could do it, is a maintenance one. So basically, I think you're not supposed to do Iqoro forever. It's supposed to get to a point where you're doing it as prescribed, day and night, and then eventually you then do it, you ease it out, similar to the PPIs, where you're just doing it as a maintenance, and that's maybe more manageable for a lifestyle as well. Not that, 2 30-second bouts a day is dramatic, or 3, but obviously 1 just in the morning feels a little bit less, doesn't it? So that's a good thing. So, where am I at? And this is maybe why it's been too long for an update. I've just restarted it again, and I was doing it just once a day again, just because I have to admit I just feel like I'm in a really good place. I haven't really been thinking about anything with it. That I don't feel the urgency to risk maybe feeling a side effect, and not that the side effects are bad or disabling in any way. Just because I have health anxiety, I don't want to worry about anything. So that's kind of where I'm at. Would I like to come off that 1 Omeprazole? Yeah, that would be, oh my god, imagine I'm just taking this, doing an Iqoro every day, and that's it. No medicine, no PPIs, nothing else. That would be brilliant. That would be the goal. But unfortunately, I'm still on that one, and I've tried taking it off, and my symptoms do come back eventually, albeit not maybe as intense as before. So that's where I'm at, really. I would actually love some advice. I've spoken to a lot of doctors over the years about it. I've still open-ended conversation. The surgeon just said, whenever you want to go for surgery, see how things maybe change over the years, but that option's there. I've not found an I don't want to not take Omeprazole at the moment, just because it's one. I know that people are going to say straight away there's long-term issues, but I think the issues of me not taking that Omeprazole are worse. So it's all about just finding something else, I think. So maybe it is Iqoro, hopefully. I think it's a great product that gives a bit of hope and gives another alternative. So this isn't an advert in any way for Iqoro. I'm not selling you anything. But yeah, I think it's a great alternative, and maybe one day I'll do a video and I'll be like, I'm off it. I'm off Omeprazole, it's worked. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Not quite there yet, but it might be my own doing for not being so consistent with it and taking some big leaps with it. So maybe my experiment needs to be for a few more years of usage without taking a significant gap like last year. So that's it. That's my update. I hope you enjoyed watching. If you do, I'd love to hear any questions or any advice. Has anything worked for anything else? It's been a few years really since I've done a bit of research. Like I was researching it a lot like 2-3 years ago, but I'm not researching it at the moment. So I would love to hear, is there anything else? Is there a new thing coming out? Has anyone else had really good successes? There's a Iqoro Facebook group as well, so if you get Iqoro, you get added. I don't know if it's still a thing, but the group is still there. But when I bought it, they added me automatically to this Facebook group, and there's loads of other people sharing their stories, so that can be quite useful as well. Thanks for watching. Subscribe. Love to hear any more. My channel, I do some stuff about Iqoro, different like mental health and physical health stuff, and just generally talking about how to make life a little bit easier, hence the name Ease with John. I hope you enjoyed my video and enjoy your day.